Okay, so when you picture a massive forest fire, you're probably thinking of absolute irreversible devastation, right? I mean, that's what we're all taught. But today, we're unpacking a fascinating source document that completely flips that script. The evidence we're going to dive into reveals something entirely counterintuitive. As you'll see in this explainer, nature actually turns total destruction into an incredibly precise, intentional cycle of life. It's this amazing story of biology, immense patience, and brilliant design.
Section 1. The Secret Beneath the Ashes.
I want you to picture a forest right after a wildfire. The roaring flames have finally died down, the heat is still radiating off the ground, and the smoke is just hanging thick in the air. The reality is pretty stark. Everything you see is ash. The towering trees that stood for decades or maybe even centuries are just gone. The vibrant living earth is completely bare, reduced to this blackened, seemingly lifeless crime scene. On the surface, there is absolutely zero evidence of life remaining. Looking at that wasteland, it's entirely natural to ask, is it all over? Has life literally been erased from this ground? Well, here is the crucial point. The answer is a massive, resounding no. Because hidden just beneath that lifeless layer of gray ash, a whole army of seeds is waiting. And they aren't hiding from the fire and fear either. Actually, they've been waiting precisely for this exact moment to arrive.
Which brings us to Section 2, Nature's Smoke Detector.
The biology behind this survival plan is just staggering. According to Assistant Professor Shelley Lumba from the University of Toronto, there is a specific category of seeds known as fire followers. Check out that quote from the source. Their life cycles begin after forest fires. Really think about that for a second. These seeds don't just survive destruction, they literally require destruction to begin their lives. A fire isn't the end of their story, it's the triggering event for their birth. But how do they know when the fires actually happened?
Now, what's really interesting about the science here is the exact chemical trigger. It's a compound called corican, which is created in the smoke of burning plants. These fire follower seeds are equipped with specific receptor proteins that are biologically engineered to do one highly specific thing: smell this exact chemical compound.
Look at how beautifully sequenced this process is. It's like a giant biological puzzle. Step 1. The fire rages, creating thick smoke completely saturated with carotens. Step 2. The first rain after the fire washes those chemical compounds right out of the air and deep into the scorched soil. And then step 3. Those dedicated receptors inside the seed detect the chemical and wake the seed up from its dormancy. It's literally a perfectly engineered, microscopic smoke detector built right into the plant's DNA. And this isn't just some quirky anomaly in one obscure plant either. Dr. Gavin Flamati and his research team published findings in BMC Biology showing that this is a widespread phenomenon. Dozens of different flowering plant and conifer families are equipped with this exact same microscopic smoke detector. It is a universal, built-in mechanism for post-disaster survival.
Let's move to Section 3, The Waiting of the Pine Cones.
So while normal seeds drop to the forest floor and immediately have to fight tooth and nail for sunlight, water, and soil nutrients, the red pine operates completely differently. Its cone acts like a locked titanium vault. It absolutely refuses to open under normal sunny conditions. It tightly guards its seeds, holding its treasure locked away, waiting only for the intense heat of a fire to melt its resin seal. Only then, at that exact right moment, does it open to scatter its seeds onto the newly burnt ground. This represents a profound level of patience in nature. I mean, the tree has absolutely no idea when a fire is going to come. It could be next month. It could be 50 years from now. The timing of the disaster is completely unpredictable. Yet, the biological vault is always there, always ready, anticipating an event it cannot possibly foresee. This leads us to Section 4, the plan within destruction. When we step back and look at the bigger picture, a fire seems like the ultimate end. But look at what it actually leaves behind. It leaves this incredibly nutrient-rich ash that fertilizes the soil. It completely wipes out all the competing underbrush. It opens up the forest canopy so abundant sunlight can finally hit the forest floor. And sitting right there in the middle of it all, waiting, are the seeds. The devastating fire actually creates the perfect, competition-free nursery. So what does this all mean? We really have to ask, is even destruction part of a plan? This brilliantly illustrates a much larger concept.
Just as the Earth has natural mechanisms to clean its atmosphere and its oceans, it clearly has highly specific, interwoven mechanisms for forest renewal. The destruction is actually the very tool used to initiate the rebuilding, which logically forces us to challenge our own understanding of the world. Did these mechanisms just form on their own? Could a cycle of life and death, so perfectly timed, so entirely reliant on exact chemical receptors and heat-triggered biological vaults, simply be a random accident in a chaotic universe? Or does all of this evidence point to a staggering level of intentional foresight? Let's look at Section 5, Resurrection After Death.
The micro-narrative we've been looking at in this explainer is just incredible. Within just a few months of what looked like a total apocalyptic disaster, vibrant green shoots begin to emerge directly from the black ashes. The entire event, the fire, the smoke, the heat, the rain, it was all part of a masterfully orchestrated plan for resurrection. When you witness a system this perfectly designed, a system where the cure is literally embedded within the catastrophe itself, you sort of inevitably arrive at the ultimate question. Who made this plan? Who engineered the seed to wait for the smoke?
Our source document draws a deeply profound philosophical conclusion from all of this. It points to Surah Ar-Rum, verse 50, which translates to, "Look at the effects of Allah's mercy, how he revives the earth after its death." The text frames these scientific smoke detectors and the locked vaults of the pine cones as the very mechanisms of this revival. It suggests that the earth dying in the fire is actually part of a deliberate, merciful design for resurrection.
And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway for today. The amazing truth about forest renewal is that the resurrection was planned way before the fire ever even arrived. The seeds were already in the ground. The detectors were already armed. The plan for life was already written right into the ashes. So the next time you see a seemingly senseless disaster in nature, remember the secret of the fire followers. Ask yourself what beautiful renewal might already be waiting just beneath the surface. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.